today we had the opportunity to meet with Ike Tucker from JackRabbit. He is a senior consumer marketing manager to talk everything retail. Thanks, Ike, for getting on that very early train from Connecticut to be here with us today. I really appreciate it. And we can have a little cocktail later.
Of course. It's always a pleasure to be here. Love coming to the city and love working with you guys. So thanks for having me on the show today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so let's jump into it. So what is JackRabbit's brand story?
So JackRabbit was basically evolved in 2015. It was part of RSG, which is a run specialty group, which at the time basically oversaw running stores across the country. And during 2015, we acquired a running store company called JackRabbit Sports, which used to be a big staple running store in New York City. And so at that time, we decided that was the opportunity for us to create something new and fresh, and that's where JackRabbit came along. And so over the past few years now, we've we've come to about 60 doors across the country. Right now, we're still in the rebranding phase where some of those stores are still transforming to JackRabbit. There are some stores, for example, down in Texas that are run on by JackRabbit, so there are some legacy doors that we'll continue to have. But overall, the company of JackRabbit has evolved pretty drastically over the past few years to really be able to offer the run specialty community and the running community and even athletes across the country an opportunity to be able to shop in stores that provide a really great atmosphere and options to the everyday athlete.
So that leads into my next question, because JackRabbit is a running company, as you've said. So how do you feel, since you're in the athleisure business, it's not really a trend anymore, it's more of a lifestyle. So how does that translate into the store experience?
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting because we realized a few years back that a lot of people don't consider themselves as runners. People who do run, yeah, but you have running shoes and you do go out on jogs and stuff like that. And so people assume that to be a runner, you have to be a marathon, you have to run marathons or half marathons. But really, I mean, again, I feel like a runner is a very loose term, can be a very loose term. And, people who are just going out and doing a jog a couple of times a week, they are technically a runner, and they need to realize that, they should have the right equipment to do that. Just like a lot of the other sports and a lot of the other things you do in life, you should have the right tools to be able to make sure that what you're doing is successful and that you're not going to hurt yourself either. And so for us, one of the big things that we focus on is footwear and shoes. And that's kind of our game, and that's kind of what we bring to the table. In our footwear walls in all our stores, we have almost every selection available to the runner. And we provide a service that when you come in, we're not just trying to give you the hottest item on that wall. We're trying to find the right fit for you. And that's where we take the customer on an experience and on a journey to finding the proper fit within our stores and within the shoe. And then from there, that expands into the apparel and into other aspects of athletes' lifestyles and what other opportunities there are there too with accessories, with recovery for after you work out and things like that. So we make sure we continue that conversation.
Well, yeah, I think you guys do a really good job from start to finish. So it's not just shoes, it's your apparel, it's the stuff that you can buy at the cash wrap. So there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, and we try to tell that story, and we try to make customers understand that, okay, it's great to have a good pair of shoes, but you also want to make sure you have the right running shirt, the right shorts, and all that stuff. And same thing with injury prevention, so after you work out, how do you make sure that you're not going to get an injury, either not by stretching or, if you do have an injury, how do you make sure that you're not favoring one side, but then also making sure that you're supporting that injury and giving it the right stability to make sure that you can improve as you continue to train.
Are you going to help me after, because I have a bum ankle? So.
Of course. We'll find you something good, I promise.
All right, good.
Yeah.
So what other things does JackRabbit do to connect the buyer to the store, or I guess because JackRabbit is the brand as well, so what else are you guys doing across platforms to bring in the customer, whether that's digital, social media?
Yeah, so it's actually really interesting. So we also have a big online store called JackRabbit.com. And what we've started to do over the past year or two is really create a campaign and almost when you go online, we want it to emulate what you have in stores. And so we want to send that same messaging across both platforms. So whether you're coming into store or whether you're online, you're still getting that same experience. And so that's something we've really been able to build. And we've actually worked a lot with our brand partners to create very unique pages on our site. So now let's say you go on to Brooks, for example, on our site. On there, you'll see they have their own separate page. It tells the history of the company. It gives a little bit more detail, and it gives whatever's trending in that time with that brand. So it might be a new product launch. It might be a campaign that they're running. And so there's a whole bunch of information on there for people to kind of learn about the company and understand why, what they're doing and what the purpose is. So we've been able to create some unique experiences there. And again, just trying to tie it back into the store. And one of the cool things too is with that site, what we can do is we can create this endless aisle feel. So let's say you're in our store and we might not have the right size for you. Well, we can go on and we can find the right size. If we don't have it in our store, we can find a colorway that you like, and we can do all that with staying within the JackRabbit ecosystem and be able to support you and give you that, that product that you need. So that's been really great. Another great thing with our social media too is we have a great social page, our main JackRabbit page, but also every store has its own unique social page. And the reason we wanted to do that is because we wanted to make sure that they're staying connected to the community, and we wanted to give them the opportunity to be a little bit free about what they want their store to be and how. Exactly. And so, you know, we always encourage them to create organic content, to create content with either their employees who are doing fun things, their customers who are joining them for group runs or activities and stuff like that, and just showing what else we do besides just in the store.
But do you feel it's like a cohesive message, or it's a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's gotten a lot more cohesive over the past couple of years, which is great, and so it's a lot more, you know, it's just become a little bit more streamlined, which is great, and people understand it, and I feel like people can connect with it. And then another great opportunity too with our sites is that we've also acquired Clever Training, which is another online platform. And that caters towards a lot more of the technical side of athletes and some of the products there. So
more of like the apps and stuff when you're running.
Yeah,
to see
so
how
like
far
the
you're
watches
going.
and trainers for your bike and things like that, which has also given us another opportunity to offer even more to the customer. So that's been a really unique opportunity for us too.
Okay. So speaking of how you've like tailored it in social media and your platforms and things like that, and speaking about how the brands are living online and then being in store, they basically have to mirror each other. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, obviously, I know you find this important, but how important is it to have a successful shop-in-shop that speaks to your customer, that's on brand, and basically, if you look at it online and you come into the store, you know exactly what you're looking for. For instance, Brooks. Like, I think they did a very good job of their shop-in-shop.
Good job to you for getting this installed. It looks great. But yeah, I mean, I think it's really cool too because obviously in our store, in this store in particular, every single shop is completely different.
Yes.
And everyone has a different message. And it invites customers in a little bit differently to each brand. You know, yesterday I was in the store and, for example, behind you there's Roan. And, you know, immediately a customer was drawn to it because of the way certain product was displayed, the way certain imagery appeals to them. And so that's very unique and different too. So I think it's really great that every brand has found their identity or even has experimented with different things to be able to provide, you know, an experience and something engaging to the customer. 'Cause, you know, you can go through a store and you can have things up on the walls, but unless it's something that's going to really bring you in, you might just walk by it. So I think it's really unique and it's pretty cool to see what's going on. And even smaller brands that really want to get their name out there are doing a lot more creative things.
Yeah, I think it's fun, and I like that even though everything's different in the store, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're walking into hodgepodge and you're like, what is going on in here? Yeah. Like everything kind of has, I think it brings it all back to you.
Exactly. And it flows really nicely and stuff like that, so I think that's cool. And I think it's really nice too that a lot of the brands try to you know, switch things out every once in a while as well to kind of appeal towards the seasons, obviously, but then also to what's happening. One of the big ones is New Balance, which is next door to us. Mm-hmm. They really try to encompass that particular season with what events might be coming up, what athletes might be, you know, in the spotlight at that time. So it's really cool to see brands kind of encompass that and embrace that aspect of it.
And kind of doing like wherever the store is, so like the locality. So if you're in Columbus
Exactly.
Circle or you're in Union Square,
Exactly.
you're across the country.
Yeah, and like Roan did a great job with their backdrop or their walls and things like that. We've done, I believe it's about 10 stores across the country with them, and every one has a different background that kind of encompasses the local feel, which is really cool because I think it's something different. It's something that pops out in the store, and it kind of shows you that that brand is, they're in sync with what's happening in that local market and what's going on there. So I think that's really cool too. And I'm looking forward to what's to come because I think there's a lot of opportunity with some of these brands to create even a more engaging experience with some more software and even some touch screens and stuff like that. So I think it'll be really cool to see what's coming up. And
you want the gadgets.
Exactly. I want something, something fun, it's kind of cool. So, there's always brands that are trying to push limits on that. So I think it'll be really interesting to see what comes up with that.
So is leading into another question.
Yeah.
So with the brands and what you look for, because that's your main job. I mean, you're looking for brands, bringing them in the space, making sure they're aligned with the brand story of JackRabbit and what you guys speak to. So is that something that you're looking for? Maybe like smaller brands, someone that's more like tech driven. Like what do you?
Yeah.
Because there's some research involved. I know people reach out to you as well, but what do you look for?
I don't want to speak for the merch team because I'm not a merchant, but yes, I mean, in general, the brand, we look for companies that have either a message to tell, that are a product that's either very engaging with the local community or even, products that have something different to offer. Because obviously we can have, 20 different apparel companies in our store, but if every single one's going to be almost the same thing, then is it really worth it and what's going to be the difference? So what's really cool about what we have in our stores is every product has a unique purpose, has something different, and has a story to tell. And that's helped us a lot with being able to provide that messaging to the customer and be able to provide those options as well. Because obviously, we could have one brand in our store, but then it doesn't really give you a diverse feel, and not everyone's the same, and everyone wants something different. So we want to be able to provide that, be able to provide options for people.
It's like what you said about the running, right? So like everyone is not a marathon runner, so you have to have different variations in the store for someone that's like me, who runs to the train, and you that runs on the weekends. So JackRabbit, I know you guys participate in the Boston Marathon, New York City Marathon, and I just want to know what else you guys are doing to bring in the community into this space. So you had mentioned something about CrossFit. So what else do you guys do?
So obviously New York City Marathon is, and everyone in my company makes fun of me for this, but I call it the Super Bowl for us. Because for us it is, and that's where we do something like 13 events in 10 days. And so we have things happening all week long. We do things for the athletes. We partner with all our brands and really create a really cool environment and really embrace the culture and what's going on during that weekend. And we try to do that across a lot of the markets for different things that are happening. One of the big things that we're also working on right now is this event called TFX, which the Fittest Experience, which is down in Austin, Texas. And so, and so that's another opportunity where we're partnering with the brand Reebok, and we're creating an experience down there to appeal towards the CrossFit community and to help them realize as well that we're here to serve them too, and we provide options there as well. And so, we're constantly looking across the country at different opportunities like that. Every market has something different and unique to offer, and so we're always looking for new ways to be able to reach out to the local community and be able to participate and help and create some really cool experience.
So who's helping facilitate that? Are you going to the store managers and some of the people that are inside the store and saying what's going on in the local area that we can be a part of? Mm-hmm. Just because, the New York City Marathon, that's your Super Bowl, but other...
it really depends. Obviously the managers are always working hard to be a part of the community and looking for new opportunities to do that. But we really have a fully dedicated team in our corporate team as well who really want to help with that. And so, that's a big initiative for us, is to be able to work on the community aspect and to be able to provide that. We do activations like Earth Day, for example, where every single one of our stores participates in it. And we work on helping, one little step at a time, helping clean up some of the local parks and some fun things like that. So, from smaller scale events to large things, we're always looking for new opportunities. And obviously with brand partners, like I said, with Reebok and other brands, that also happens to kind of flow in together. And, sometimes they have opportunities too that they're like, this would be a great fit for Jackrabbit. Let's partner with them and create a really cool experience.
And you're bringing that inside the store and then events that are outside of the store, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're pushing it back to your social media and everything else like that. So all of the stores that are having something, that's where.
Yeah, exactly. And so we'll do, like you said, so we'll do some things in the stores, we'll do things out of the stores. We also want to work a lot with our corporate partners and our community partners. So it could be local physical therapies, it could be, any kind of local partnership that we have. We want to bring them into it as well. So we figure out ways that they can incorporate their what they bring to the table and help that in the event as well. So I think there's a lot of opportunities there that we're continuing to build on. And I think it's kind of a big component, I think, to any retail business and any business in general, is you should be connected with the community. And I think that's important, and I think a lot of people look for that now. And I think it's great for us for where we are, because we really try to make sure that everyone in our company understands that. That's a big
But I think that's very much like the brand of Jackrabbit. It feels, when you walk into the store, it doesn't feel, I don't know, it feels like something like you're like, oh, you don't feel overwhelmed, even though there's like so much apparel, so many different shoe options and stuff like that. So like running or working out, people are always a little bit intimidated.
Yeah. And it's cool.
To feel that way.
Yeah, and it's cool too, because a lot of the people that work in our stores, they also have play a big part in the community too, and they're doing other things. Like here in Columbus Circle, a couple of our people that work in our staff are on Broadway and plays and stuff like that, and some are dancers and all that kind of stuff. So it's really interesting to see, that part touch the stores as well. And as I mentioned, even here in New York City, every store in the city has a completely different vibe when you go into it. Our Upper West store has a very neighborhood vibe to it, so it's really interesting. Brooklyn, obviously Brooklyn is a great neighborhood and different from Manhattan, and that store embraces that, and they work a lot with the people out there. So I think it's really cool to see that as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So just to pick your brain, what do you find that's working in retail? Like trends that you see that are working with the brands that you choose, or just things that Jackrabbit is doing? Obviously, there's a lot of athleisure out there. There's competition. So even if it's something from another company that you like, or you see that.
I mean, I think it's interesting because, nowadays especially, you see a lot of things in the news about, retailers closing down stores, and all that stuff. And I think what the misconception is that a lot of those people that are closing their stores are people that are trying to compete with the lowest price possible and trying to cut down everything as possible, which is great. Everyone wants a deal. I always want a deal, right? But I think in certain aspects of what you're looking for, you have to know that, getting a deal might not always be the best option for you. And yes, I'm sure there's cheap shoes out there, but that cheap shoe might not be the right fit for what you need when you're working out or when you're running. And so what we really try to focus on is giving that customer the full service when they come into a store. We want them to understand that, we take them through a whole gait analysis process in our store, and that entails them getting on a treadmill with a neutral shoe, and then analyzing it, and we show them what it looks like when they run normally, and then we suggest a particular type of shoe, and then we put them back on the treadmill, and we show them again what they look like in that shoe and how it changed them, so they understand what's happening and how that's helping them. So we're really just trying to create awareness, and through that, I think, is what's helping us, be a successful company for these customers.
Sure. And it separates yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, that's something different. And I know we all love to shop online, and that's obviously why we have an online store as well. But I think being able to come in, try things on, and understand what each product is, because you can only learn so much online, and you can only feel so much online. And so I think
that's why you guys are succeeding, because everyone still wants to go to the store and feel something and like connect with the brand. So like you can go back home and like look for something online, but to come in the store and feel it, go on the treadmill, like that's a different,
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's pushed a lot to it. And in every market, again, I think, and I keep going back to this because it is true, and we've really understood that every market is different. And every spot in the United States is going to have a different feel, and customers are looking for different things. So I think it's understanding where the adaptations can be made, and how do you adapt to make sure that customer feels like they are getting the full service. And so that's what we make sure we provide in our locations. And I think that there are a lot of athleisure companies out there, which is great. I think it's always great to have competition. I think it's great to see new things pop up, and I think that pushes each person to do even better and to provide even a better either service or a better product. We actually do partner with a lot of our athleisure, I wouldn't say competitors, but ones that, that do provide similar services, and we try to work with them as well and to create things for our customers and for the community as well, because we think it's important. And we're not, exactly. And we're not here just to make sure that, that we're bringing money, but we want to really be able to give the customer what they deserve.
All right, so let's get a little fun.
Okay.
All right, you don't know any of these questions.
It's about time.
Yeah. All right, so favorite curse word.
Well, I like cursing in French, so I always say merde. That's a good one.
So that's what people don't know about you is.
Yeah, it's true. I did grow up I did spend a few years in France.
You're French. You speak.
Thank you.
French.
I used to speak French. Now I think it's like a little bit in between. So yeah.
You can hold your own.
Sometimes.
When we order wine, you're all about it.
Exactly. I pretend, No, I'm kidding. No, but yeah, and I do, and it's actually, so merde is, obviously a curse word, but it's also good luck in some things too.
Oh,
like,
really?
Yeah, like if you're going for like a job interview, for example, you say, merde, and so it's like, it's good luck, merde. Shit.
Oh.
Yeah. So it is. I like that, and I spent a few years there, and it was fun. It was a good experience, and it taught me a lot to learn about different cultures, and to be able to actually travel a bit in Europe was kind of fun. So
of course. Yeah. And you go back.
Try to go back at least once a year.
The village.
Unless my parents make me go more, then I gotta go a couple times a year. I know.
Just gotta go to the
It's
French
rough.
countryside and take care of the house in the village.
Yeah.
Where's my violin? 3 people, dead or alive, that you would invite to your dinner party.
Oof.
You can mix it up. It could be 3 all dead.
I would love to invite Stephen Hawking.
Oh, the one that was a scientist? Really smart.
I think he'd be really interesting. I think he'd be way too smart for me, so I'd probably all pass
That's
over
what
my
we're going
head.
to mix him in with, because, think about dinner party. We're all sitting around.
Well, he would love my dad. Him and my dad they would get along perfectly. So I think it'd be cool to hear their conversations. I would love George W. Bush, because I think he's probably the coolest person I've ever met. He seems always excited about stuff. He just seems like yeah, he just seems like a fun guy. I feel like he'd be a fun person to have a couple of drinks with. And then,
come on, give me a woman.
I know. I was gonna say I think Jennifer Aniston. What's my celebrity crush? I feel like that kind of ties in nicely. I think.
She seems very fun.
I think, of course, she's cool. I think, why not? I think, So I think.
Do you want to know who I would invite?
Who would you invite?
I was thinking about this on the train.
Me?
Well, you'd be there.
Thank you.
You'd be the sommelier.
Oh, merci.
I was thinking, obviously, my top 3 bad bitches: Gaga, Rihanna, and Adele.
Okay.
And then I'd throw in Joan Rivers, because she's dead and hysterical.
Yeah.
For men, I don't
That'd
really
be
think about
interesting.
them.
You have all 3 singers, huh?
Yeah, we'd have a blast. It'd be karaoke. I'd make them sing in my ear.
I love it.
So I did the one thing people don't know about you. It's that you're French and you speak French.
Yep.
So
That's true. Well, now everyone knows.
Everyone knows.
So it's not a secret anymore. I know.
Cats
Yeah.
out of bed. If you could do anything, obviously not your career choice right now, what would you do? What would be your profession?
I think being the CIA would be cool. I think I'd be a good
I think
I'd be a good secret agent who has to infiltrate something in Monaco. I could see myself being in Monaco, right? Being a secret agent down there.
Because you come off very I feel like you could be a few different things.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes I can bring the French accent, so perfect. No one would know. So, I think that would play nicely. I always wanted to be a pilot, actually.
Top Gun. Bringing it back.
Well, I did want to do Top Gun, and then I realized that I have glasses, so I don't think technically you can be a pilot if you don't have 20/20 vision.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know. Well,
Well, you're flying like $1 billion plane, so you better have like 20/20 vision, I think.
I mean, if you get contacts, it's the same thing.
Yeah. I don't know if they see it that way, but sure, we'll go with that.
So I can't be a pilot.
But yeah, but I thought about being a commercial pilot, and then I realized it's like $200,000 to be like, you know, like for it to get flight school and everything. I was like, that's expensive, and it's after college. And I'm like, so you know that dream's kind of shattered now. But yeah, but I think otherwise, what else? I think those are two good ones.
You're gonna be a sommelier.
I could be a sommelier. I think, yeah, I don't think I could deal with.
I would own a vineyard. I'd just be like
Oh
sitting
yes,
there.
I want to own a chateau that would be like a restaurant and a hotel,
Perfect.
and I'd love it to be like in the mountains above this lake in Annecy, which is like beautiful.
So you've thought about this.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I've thought about the whole game plan, how it would work, like, and then have a couple villas as well that you could rent out, and yeah.
Oh, yeah, we've talked about that.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just
That's my grand plan. One day when I find some investors to help me out with that.
I'll be one.
Yeah. Thank you.
If you had to write your obituary, one line to describe your life and how you would want it to be. That one's morbid.
Yeah. Again, I think all it has to say is just merde. Just exclamation point.
How do you spell that?
Funny.
In
Not yeah.
parentheses.
Yeah. I don't know. I think. I
lived, I died.
think just Renaissance man. I think that's.
Ooh.
Yeah. I think that's a good one.
Ooh.
You know, I try to figure out. You know.
We should call
things to
Sarah
do.
and see what she would say.
That's what she would say. That's why I stole it from her.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
sweet. Oh, this is a good one. Your name.
Oh. Sorry.
Ike is a
Something
nickname.
else.
Sorry, Mike.
Yeah.
Ike is a nickname too.
It is. It's nicknamed to Irenaeus,
Irenaeus.
patron saint of peace.
See?
I think I'm pretty peaceful.
I'd say that.
I think so.
Good name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming.
Cheers. Thank you.